A contractor found a hidden room behind a family's bedroom wall. Inside, evidence that someone had been watching them for years. A man in Portland, Oregon, heard footsteps in his basement every night. His house had no basement. And a woman in London saw a shadow figure standing at the end of her bed every night for 6 months, until the night it moved. 3 true stories tonight on Beyond the Dark. Welcome to Beyond the Dark, where the most terrifying real stories come to life. Tonight, 3 true horror stories from 3 different families, 3 different homes, 3 different nightmares. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and whatever you do, do not look behind you. This is Beyond the Dark. Story 1. The Hidden Room. Nashville, Tennessee, USA. The Collins family had lived in their home for 4 years. They loved that house. Every room, every corner, every wall. Until the day they decided to renovate. A contractor came to knock down a wall in the master bedroom to make the room bigger. He swung his hammer once, twice, and on the 3rd swing, the wall didn't crack. It opened like a door. The contractor stepped back, called the homeowner. Together they shone a flashlight inside. What they found was a room. Small, dark, completely hidden behind the wall. The contractor said he had been in the building trade for 22 years. He had never seen anything like it. The room was not on any building plan. It had not been built with the house. It had been added later by someone who did not want it to be found. Inside the room, a small wooden chair facing the wall, and in the wall, 3 holes, each one perfectly positioned. The first hole looked directly into the master bedroom. The second hole looked into the children's room. The third hole looked into the bathroom. The family called police immediately. Officers searched the hidden room and found something that made them seal the entire house as a crime scene. Behind the chair, a box. Inside the box, memory cards. Dozens of them. Police took them as evidence. The family was not told what was on them, but one officer who reviewed them later said quietly, the recordings went back 3 years before the Collins family even moved in. Whoever built that room had been watching that house for a very long time, and they were never caught. A hidden room, 3 years of recordings, and a family who will never feel safe in their own home again. Story 2 is about a man who heard something impossible. Footsteps in a basement that did not exist. Story 2. The basement that wasn't there. Portland, Oregon, USA. His name was Michael, 38 years old. He bought a single-story house in the summer of 2022. No basement. The surveyor confirmed it. No underground space. Solid concrete foundation. Michael moved in alone. First 2 weeks, perfect. Then on a Thursday night, in October, he heard it. Footsteps. Coming from beneath the living room floor. Slow, heavy. Walking from one end of the house to the other. Michael stood completely still, listening. The footsteps stopped. Then started again. In the opposite direction. Back and forth. Back and forth. Like someone pacing. Michael called a structural engineer. The next morning, the engineer surveyed the entire house. There is nothing under this floor, he said. Solid concrete. No voids. No space. Nothing. Michael showed him where the footsteps seemed to come from. The engineer knocked on the floor. Solid. He knocked again. Solid. He moved 2 feet to the left and knocked again. And this time, the knock echoed. The engineer looked up, his face confused. He knocked again. The same echo. He took out his equipment and discovered something that made no logical sense. Beneath that section of floor, there was a void, roughly the size of a large room, 6 feet below the surface. Not on any plan. Not accessible from anywhere. Completely sealed. The engineer said it was impossible. The concrete above it was undisturbed. There was no way in or out. And yet, when they drilled a small hole to investigate, the camera they lowered inside showed a room with a dirt floor, old stone walls, and in the corner of the room, a chair facing the wall, empty. But the dirt floor around the chair had fresh footprints, going in circles, around and around the chair, hundreds of times, as if someone had been walking in circles in that sealed room for a very long time. The void was sealed permanently. Michael moved out that same week. But he says, even in his new home, even on solid ground, he can still hear it. At night. Beneath his feet. Footsteps. Going back and forth. Back and forth. 2 stories. 2 homes. 2 impossibilities. But story 3 is the one that will stay with you. Because unlike the others, this one has no explanation. No hidden rooms. No sealed voids. Just a shadow that would not stop watching until it decided to do something worse. Story 3. The shadow at the end of the bed. London, United Kingdom. Her name was Sarah. 34 years old. She lived alone in a flat in East London. She had lived there for 2 years without incident until January 2023, when she woke up at 3 a.m. and saw it at the end of her bed. A shadow figure. Tall. Dark. Completely still. Sarah froze. Her eyes adjusted to the darkness. The figure was clearly there. The shape of a person. Standing at the foot of her bed. Facing her. Just watching. Sarah reached for her phone. Turned on the flashlight. The figure was gone. She checked every room. Every closet. Front door locked. Windows locked. Nothing. She told herself. It was a dream. But the next night, 3 a.m. exactly. It was there again. Same spot. Same stillness. This happened. Every single night. For 6 months. Sarah learned to live with it. She would see it. Close her eyes. And wait for morning. She never told anyone. Until the night of July 14, 2023. When everything changed. She woke up at 3 a.m. The figure was there. Same as always. But this time, it was different. Because this time, it was not alone. Standing next to it, was a smaller figure. The shape of a child. Sarah had no children. She had never seen the second figure before. Both figures stood completely still, watching her. Sarah grabbed her phone. Called her sister. Her sister told her to leave immediately. Sarah got out of bed. Moved toward the door. And as she passed the end of the bed, she walked through the figures. She felt it. Cold. Like walking through ice water. Every cell in her body screaming. She ran out of the flat. Never went back. She told her story to a paranormal researcher in London. The researcher investigated the flat and found something in the building records. The flat had been built in 1987. In 1994, a man had died in that flat alone. His body was not found for 3 weeks. And in 2001, a young child had gone missing from the building. Never found. The researcher believes both figures are connected to these events. Sarah believes it too. But what Sarah cannot explain is that since leaving that flat, she has moved 3 times. Different cities. Different homes. And every night, at exactly 3 a.m., she still wakes up. And at the end of her bed, 2 figures. Standing still. Watching. The tall one. And the small one. Always together. Always watching. And getting closer. Every single night. 3 stories. 3 homes. 3 families. Who will never feel safe again. If these stories kept you up tonight, you have not heard anything yet. Every week, new true horror stories. From real homes. Real families. Real darkness. Subscribe to Beyond the Dark. And never feel safe in your home again. The darkness always has more to tell. Watch the next video if you dare.